What's going on? Welcome back to Fishing with Nordbye. Doing something a little different today. I'm walking into Walmart right now. We're gonna do a $5 Walmart micro fishing challenge. Okay, I'm heading back to the fishing section. Today I can only spend up to $5. I'm gonna buy the smallest baits I can find. We're gonna try to catch the smallest fish we can in these reservoirs. And this is something you can do all over the country, no matter where you're located, from Maine to California to Florida. I'm here in Missouri. Here we go, fishing aisle. So to catch these fish, a lot of times you need really super small hooks. That way you can get them in their mouth. You also need some live bait typically. Live bait is hard to beat for one of these challenges, so we might see how much a box of worms are, but we're gonna pick up the smallest hooks we can find. All right, we got some panfish hooks, size 6, that is too big. Size 2, that's even bigger. We're looking for like size 8 to 12, something super tiny. So this Walmart does not carry any super small hooks. The smallest ones I can find are size 6. They got them in these pre-rigged ones, as well as these little panfish containers. But I came over here to the jig side, and I was able to find a jig hook all in one, smaller hook, probably like a size 10, along with a weighted head. I was gonna have to buy some split shot weights to get that bait down there, but now I can just use these tiny jig hooks, and they are $2. So that's $2 of my $5 budget. Let's see what else we can buy. There we go, the juice. Worms are $2.97. That is gonna fit in our $5 budget. Yes, I'll be a few cents over $5 with tax, but under tax, that is less than $5. We're gonna buy some of these worms and these jig heads today and do this challenge. Thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, we just got our worms and our hooks, and we are good to go. Just leaving Walmart, gonna head out to the lake, but first I gotta pick up my dog Scout. He is gonna come. He is a little puppy, so he's gonna be perfect to catch some of these little fish. What do you think, Scout? You ready to go? You ready to go micro fishing? We're gonna catch a fish your size. Just a little guy. We've been catching bass that are as big as you. It's a super windy day out here. We're at a reservoir that's got a lot of rocks, and a lot of times these little fish will get down in the rock cracks, and you can put your little hooks right in between the cracks of these rocks and catch some little bluegill, maybe some little catfish. We'll see what happens. We're gonna go out there and try to catch some of these small little fish. These are some super tiny jig heads. They're 1/64 ounce. We'll be able to catch some tiny fish on these, won't we, Scout? Got a good pup that heels right next to me, watches my feet, doesn't get far ahead of me. He's a really good pup. All right, Scout, we're gonna go down this hill here, stand on these rocks, and like I said, a lot of times in these rock cracks is where we're gonna catch some on our little worms and jigs. Oh, about just bit it. About fell in the water. So all you need is just a little tiny hook. I know in the $5 Walmart challenge, I'm assuming you have a rod and fishing line already. That's just an assumption, but it'd be another $10 if you needed to go buy a small rod and reel. But we got a little hook here. We're gonna take some worm out. All you need is just a little pinch of worm. Look at these nasty things. There we go. Right there. Just, that's probably too big, but I'm gonna use it anyway. That's probably too big of a piece of worm for these tiny fish. And I'm just gonna thread this little piece of worm on the hook. Just like that. All right, and that's all you need right there. This little tiny jig hook with a piece of worm on it. Rinse my hands off here. See if we can catch this one. All right, we got a bunch of rock cracks here. I'm gonna drop my worm down. Oh, I already got one. First drop. Wow, Scout, look at that. Hey, Scout, look at that fish. See that fish? He said, I don't know about that. You see that? Look at that. What do you think? He says, I want to eat it. That is awesome. First drop, beautiful little bluegill on this worm. I still got my worm. He left me my worm. Look at that. Beautiful little bluegill. First micro fish of the day. This is an excellent way to catch fish to put in your fish tank. There's a lot of ponds around cities and stuff, urban areas. You can go to anywhere and do this with a little piece of worm. And you can catch these little fish, put it right in your fish tank. You don't have to go to the pet store and buy fish. And they are more fun to watch. I think they're, he just got back. I think they're more colorful, and they make awesome pets. You can also dig under these rocks and find little crawdads to put in your fish tank. Okay, that was the first one. Gonna let some more line out and drop this right back down. See if we can get another one to bite. Oh, had a bite. Oh, he almost pulled my worm off. I'm gonna go ahead and hook the worm all the way back on this hook again, because these guys are good at stealing the bait. And we're gonna drop it right back down. Right back down. There we go. Another one. Oh, it's a green sunfish. This one is not a bluegill, it is a green sunfish. Look at those pretty greenish blue lines on their face. These fish are feisty. And they got these little orangish, reddish fins down here that are just beautiful with white tips on them. These fish are some of the prettiest ones in freshwater you can catch. They do grow to a size you can eat, but they would make an awesome pet for a fish tank. If you did not want an aggressive fish in your fish tank, I would recommend a normal bluegill, because these guys would eat all the little fish you have in your fish tank, but a bluegill would not. They got a little bigger mouths than a bluegill. There's number 2. See ya. There we go. 2 fish already on the little jig with a worm. All right, going back down here. Dropping it down right next to these rocks. There's another one. 3rd drop. They're just loaded. Oh, he got off. Kind of took my worm off a little bit, but I am able to still use it. I'm gonna hook it back on. That is awesome. Nice little fish. Dropping back down. See if we can get another one right away. Normally they're just everywhere in these rocks. As you can see, you can catch them about anywhere. Oh, there's one. Oh my gosh, that is the tiniest fish I think I've ever caught. I don't think I've ever caught one smaller than this. That is so tiny. I guess I did buy tiny enough hooks. Scout says he wants to go for a swim. Oh my gosh, this fish is so small. I'm gonna lip it. Look at that. Absolute miniature fish. That is what microfishing's about. This would make the perfect fish for your fish tank if you were trying to stock it up. That is awesome. Hey Scout, look at this little guy. What do you think? What do you think about that? There he goes. So the reason I chose this spot is because it's the only area along the bank for a little ways. He's getting all wet. It's the only area along the bank for a little ways that has a rock that comes out into the water a little bit. So it creates a little more structure. It's still a shallower spot, but a little deeper than the rest of the bank. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this jig hook and worm, dropping it right next to this rock and going right down there, and there's probably some sitting behind it. And that's where I've been catching these fish at. There's one. Look at that, another little baby. That is so tiny. Wow, beautiful little green sunfish. I don't know if you guys can see the colors on this thing because it's so small, but the colors are just beautiful. And a lot of times in your lakes, these bass will feed on these and forage on these bluegill, and you can throw little bluegill style lures out along the edge of these ponds and lakes and reservoirs, and you can catch good bass on bluegill style baits because there's that many of them in here. I've only been fishing here for 5 or 10 minutes, and I've already caught 6 bluegill right next to this one rock. Imagine how many bluegill are around there for these bass to feed on. And that's a lot of times why you see the bass have scarred up faces, because they slam into these rocks trying to catch these bluegill before they dart in little holes to get away from the bass. Scout says he's just having a blast. Oh man, he's only 10 weeks old. Good little dog. He just did a front flip on the rocks. That is also how you make your dogs not scared of anything. Let them experience nature on their own at their own pace. There's one. Oh, he got off. Stole my worm. Got to put another one on. I've caught 8 fish so far on that one worm. It's been great. A lot of times you got to use big pieces when you're going for bigger fish, but these small pieces you can get, I don't know, 100 fish out of one worm. Run the hook through the whole body of the worm from one end and pop out the other end, just like that. And it kind of sits on the hook shank just nice and straight, and the bluegill love it, and you don't lose as many worms that way. Scout fell in. Scout fell in. That's great. Well, that's the first time Scout's ever been swimming. He fell off the rock and he swam back to shore. I think he enjoyed it. Oh my, that's great. Cody's gonna kill me when she has to give him another bath tonight. Okay, I think we fished this little spot out. They were right behind these big rocks in between the cracks. Scout is all wired up as he's been in the water and he feels all refreshed. First time swimming, he fell in playing with that log and swam to shore and didn't quite know what to expect. And now he's just rolling around down the hills and he's loving it. That's about his 10th time rolling down the hill. That's one of the funniest things I've seen him do. But we're gonna go try a different spot on this little reservoir, see if we can maybe find a little bit bigger fish. Those bluegill we caught, I don't think we could catch them any tinier than we're catching them. Those green sunfish, they're super tiny. But this is an awesome way to fill your aquarium. This is also a great way to catch little bait when you go catfishing. You could come out here for 20 minutes, have about 10 fish in your bucket, go catfishing that night, put them on trot lines, jug lines, however you like to do it. But it's a great way to catch little fish. You never want to have moss on your liner. The fish will not bite it. You have to pull every little piece of moss and grass and weeds off of there if you want to catch these fish. They're that finicky. They can see really good. They're small fish and they can see the small things. Oh, there's one hooked up. Yep, we got a little bigger one. Oh yeah. All right, a little bigger piece of worm enticed a nice little bluegill into biting. Bigger than the last ones we've caught. You can see how pretty they are. Just awesome catching these bluegill. There we go, a little bigger piece of worm. Gonna get a release on him. See ya. You ready to go, Scout? You ready to go, boy? We are heading out. We had a blast today microfishing. Hey, don't eat goose poop, Scout. That's not good for you. Nope. Like I said, we're gonna call it a day. I hope you guys enjoyed the microfishing episode. Something totally different I've never done on my channel. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this or have any suggestions for videos. And if you haven't seen, I'm doing a giveaway for my 3,000 subscriber mark. Go enter it. It's a huge giveaway. You don't want to miss your chance to win. We're gonna head out and we'll see you guys next time on Fishing with Nordbye.